is Joy News Prime.
This is Joy News Prime. My name is Israelite. Coming up, President John Mahama has declared 3 days of mourning for the estimated 150 people who are so far known to have perished in the floods that devastated Accra after a heavy downpour last night. The actual extent of devastation caused by the downpour, which started just about 24 hours ago at the time last night's Joy News Prime went on air, only became apparent this morning at the break of dawn. And for the most of today, the National Fire Service and other first responders have been retrieving bodies and rescuing those trapped. Whilst at the 37 Military Hospital, families have been hoping they won't find their relatives amongst the dead. The business community is meanwhile counting losses in the hundreds of thousands, possibly millions. We have all that and more coming up in the next 60 minutes, to stay tuned. Flood and fire. Indeed, the whole of Ghana is mourning the tragic loss of lives in the devastating floods that hit Accra last night. The epicenter of the devastation that rocked Accra has been the fuel filling station at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, which caught fire after an explosion there. The fire, which started around 11 p.m. Wednesday night, consumed everything in its reach, including commuters who were taking shelter and motorists who had parked their vehicles, unable to continue their journeys because of the flooded streets. Joy News' Derek Ekosam was with the fire service as they battled the blaze last night.
What started as a normal working day for most workers ended up being a day that will never be forgotten. Lots of people left their homes to find their daily bread, hoping to return to bed in the night. They, however, did not live to see their families again. Rains resulting in one of the worst floods swept most of them away with their dreams. Major streets were rendered unmotorable. Commuters were stranded and left at the mercy of the rain and robbers. Where were you when the rain started?
I was just around here and I was trucking around a certain shop here, and the rain was coming and coming, so I couldn't move out.
From all indications, it appears that you can't get to your home. What other alternatives do you have?
I don't have any alternative because the whole place is flooded up and we can't have any way out.
I don't know what to do. I'm just stuck here.
Do you have any relatives around you who want to spend the night at their place?
No. We are waiting.
You are waiting. You want to wait till the water submerges or the water recedes?
Oh, if it goes down there, we will go home. But if not, we have nothing to do.
But the floods were soon to be forgotten as the nation's attention was turned to an inferno that raised the fuel station to the ground. The floods had partially submerged the station and carried off fuel from the underground tanks, which is believed to have been set off by fire from a nearby home. The devastation is beyond description. The pressure from the flood lifted and dismantled a lot of vehicles, and if this is anything to go by, many others stranded in the rain will have been washed away, never to be seen by their families. Lives that may never even make it onto the death toll because no one was counting. For Joy News, Derek Ekosam, Accra.
Now, 4 people lost their lives in floodwaters at Awoshin, Elang here in Accra. My colleague Seth Kwame Boatin visited the area and brings us this report.
I know they told them, obviously to create problems. I have brought them here several times to look at what we can do. They are not good. Yes. I have come here several times because you cannot divert water just for the sake of it. You're going nowhere.
Now, the floods that wreaked havoc in the capital have also affected academic work for basic school pupils. Francis Abang visited the Youngsters International School at Nima, where school children are preparing for the Basic Education Certificate Examination (BECE), which is just 10 days away.
The flood at Nima at the Youngsters International School, located just behind the Paloma Hotel, brought academic work to a halt. Most of the classrooms of the school have either been seriously hit by the floodwaters or debris lodged in the classrooms. The worst affected are the final year students preparing feverishly for their final exams. The students are worried this could affect their performance. We are now at the Youngsters International School here. Just behind Paloma. The school has been affected by the floods. Just walking through the buildings, you could see a lot of debris in the rooms, the classrooms. A lot of things have been destroyed. But let's speak to those who are largely affected, those who came for a school activity, the kids, the school children here. I have three of the students here with me. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And how are you today?
We are fine, thank you.
How did you get to school today?
Today I was in the house when they came to tell us that we have a flood in the school. And we said, let's come and see. So when we came, when we saw it, and then we decided to help.
When you got here, what did you see?
I saw a goat in the classroom.
A goat?
Yes.
Where from?
We don't actually know.
What do you think should be done at a time like this for your school?
Okay. Well, I think they should arrange this place and they can take us to the other branch or Adenta so that we can study there. When they finish building it, then we'll come back and come and learn.
The Director of Academic Affairs at the school, Ni Ukaija Dinse, tells Joy News the school has been shut down till next week Monday as they clean the school.
We realized that we assessed the whole thing and we didn't want students to come and then we hadn't completed. So we had a roundtable discussion and we saying that they should go home. We're hoping, seriously, we have invited masons, laborers, other people from other compounds to come to the school to help. They are all part of the school. We want to clear, so they should come. We are thinking that the forms 2 and 3 will come on Monday.
Now, rescue teams dispatched to the scene of the fire at the Goil filling station spent most of the day retrieving dead bodies. Earlier today, my colleague Ridwan Karim Dini Osman was at the scene and brings some sights and sounds as he followed the rescue team made up of NADMO officials, police officers and military personnel around the Dona area. It is believed as many as 105 people may have perished in the inferno alone.
The dead bodies within Circle or Donna. Indeed, very energetic young men and women who could have added to the country's economy as far as productivity is concerned have died. We have about 3 dead bodies in front of this building. The officials are trying to wash off the clay there. You see this young girl. Oh, indeed, this is very sad. I'm even lost for words. Very sad situation there. And so this is our continuing coverage of last night's downpour that has rendered many people homeless and also led to the loss of lives as well. Indeed, a very sorrowful spectacle there, a very chaotic scene if you ask me. And you can see people at the background. They are so sad, they are so moved by what has happened here today. The rescue team continues to pick a lot more dead bodies. And so we are just hoping that by the close of day, all the bodies that have been trapped in the various drains will be rescued, and we would know the next line of action. Ridwan Karim Dini Osman, Odona, Accra.
My colleague Ni Akrofi Smatabi has been touring and speaking with some of the affected people near the fuel station that exploded and claimed over 100 lives, and he joins me live on the line right now. So Ni Akrofi, what can you tell us, or what have you been able to find out?
Just behind the oil filling station that exploded last night. I've gone around quite a bit from late this evening till now. I've spoken with some of the residents in this area. I've seen a few of them whose houses have been flooded, and those whose houses have also been actually affected by the fire. One thing I'm getting, or one information I'm picking around so far, points to the fact that the fire actually did not start from the filling station. The exact source, we are not too sure, but it looks a lot like it started somewhere behind me. That's towards the Odona market area. I have with me one of the residents here who I'll just speak to briefly so that he can tell us exactly what he saw on the night when the fire started. Thanks for your time. What's your name?
I'm Daniel.
Daniel, can you tell us exactly where the fire started, if you saw?
Okay, around 11 p.m., I was in the house when, just about 60 meters down there, because they sell alcoholic drinks and stuff that people smoke and people cook around that area. So all we saw was blue flame coming from that side.
That's towards the Odona market area. I have with me one of the residents here who I'll just speak to briefly so that he can tell us exactly what he saw on the night when the fire started. Thanks for time. What's your name?
I'm Daniel Amankwa.
Okay, Daniel. Can you tell us exactly where the fire started, if you saw it?
Okay, around 11 p.m., I was in the house when, just about 50 meters down there, because they sell alcoholic drinks and stuff that people smoke and people cook around that area. So all we saw was blue flame coming from that side, and it was just like a flash of light. It was very fast from that side. On this side of the road goes down there, and then it takes a left turn. Okay. The left turn towards the back of the filling station. So, you know, the smell of the fuel was so much water. So I think because it was concentrated there, immediately it got to that side, we heard a very loud bang explosion. Yeah. So that's when it caught on with the filling station. So I think it's just negligence on the part of maybe a smoker or somebody who was cooking at that side. I mean,
that started the fire.
That started the fire. So it's caught on from there, and then because an arcane, which is very volatile. I mean, it just caught on like that. Yeah.
Okay. So that is Daniel, who's a resident in this area, telling us how he thinks the fire started. But earlier, I also caught up with Faisal, whose house was actually burnt in the inferno that started somewhere, we believe, from behind me. Here's what he had to say to me earlier when I spoke to him. We are somewhere behind the East Cantonment Pharmacy, and some of the houses there were badly affected by the rainstorm. One or two of the houses were also burnt, and I have with me one of the residents in the houses. What's your name?
Faisal Shiu.
Faisal.
Yeah.
Okay. So which of the houses were you living in? The yellow one or the one after that?
The one after the yellow one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, where were you when it all started?
All of us were outside by the roadside, and we learned that the house was burning. That's all we can see. That. So the following morning, when we came, we saw that all the rooms, when you enter the compound, the first 3 rooms that you will see got burnt. They were not able to take anything from the fire. Everything got burned. The only thing that I will say that they did not take anything, but all of us in the house survived because we moved before anything happened. So we were safe. It's only the fire that burnt about 4 rooms and nobody could take anything from it.
So for the rest of the family or those who lived in the house, where are they now?
For now, they are with their other family members who are staying around. They are with them. So as at now, nobody's in the house. Nobody's in the house.
And how about you? Where are you sleeping tonight?
That one, it's normal. As a guy, you don't have to struggle. You have to struggle. You don't have to force yourself to go and sleep with someone. I have friends, even the family, I can go there, but I choose to stay around for a while.
Yeah, I started calling him down yesterday night around 11.
Who spoke to me earlier from his house, which is also just behind the East Cantonment Pharmacy's wholesale point, and his house has been burnt. About 4 rooms in that house have actually been burnt. I went to the filling station a while ago, and the place has been cordoned off. The police are still on guard duty there, and there's a fire service tender over there, and what they're doing currently is drawing water, they tell me, from the foundation level of the GCB towers, because they believe it is very necessary that they do that. Otherwise, it will go on to weaken the foundation of that particular edifice. And so, Israel, that's what's been happening so far around the Odona area and the Gol filling station that exploded. So back to you in the studio.
Very much, Nia Kofi Smart. I'll be joining us live from location. The police, meanwhile, say they have deployed extra boots on the ground in the wake of the devastation caused by the downpour. Gladys Oseredu has been speaking to the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Al-Hassan.
We are currently here still assessing the aftermath of the rains that poured heavily Wednesday. We are here at Nima, at a place they call the Baki Gutter. We have the police, we have the fire officer, they're all here assessing the situation. Let's get talking to them and find out. Hello, sir. Thank you for your time. So far, you've been around the city. What do you make of the whole problem, the damages?
Well, obviously, there have been extensive damage to properties. As you are aware, there have been some loss of life. We are still in the process of investigating and assessing to know the extent of damage and what the number of people that we've lost.
Security-wise, what's the way forward for us?
Well, the way forward is to listen to advice from the emergency workers. We should not choke our drainages. We should heed to advise us to, with respect to traffic, where we park our vehicles. And in the cases of emergency, we should always endeavor to call the security services. the specialized agencies, the emergency services who have been trained to deal with situations like this.
Thank you, sir. Let me quickly also get a word.
Right now, President John Mahama has declared 3 days of mourning for the estimated 150 people who have known so far to have died in the devastating floods that has left several suburbs of Accra in ruins and many lives shattered. The president, was addressing the media after a national crisis meeting, also stated that 60 million Ghana cedis has been released to support victims of the disaster.
Search and rescue operations will continue till the weekend, Sunday. On Monday, we will observe 3 days of national mourning for the victims of the fire disaster and the flooding. Flags will fly at half-mast from Monday for 3 days. Drastic steps are necessary here if we are to permanently address this perennial problem. We'll intensify our efforts to expand and modernize our drainage system. In this endeavor, I request your understanding and the cooperation of Ghanaians to set right what has been wrong with our country for far too long. We cannot continue to allow a situation where the convenience of a few undermines the safety of many. Government has allocated an amount of 50 million Ghana cedis to cover relief and humanitarian operations, repair of damaged public infrastructure, and desilting and clearing of waterways. This exercise would affect other towns that would find themselves in other situations in other parts of the country. Our current priority now is to save lives and prevent any further suffering of our people. From the weather warnings announced by the Ghana Meteorological Agency, we can expect more rains over an extended period of time, especially within the next 2 weeks. It requires proper emergency services planning to ensure that any challenges that occur are effectively tackled. Accordingly, the National Disaster Management Organization and the Ghana Armed Forces will be providing and setting up emergency shelter zones within the affected areas to provide refuge for persons displaced by the flooding. I appeal also to our churches and mosques to make their premises and facilities available to provide any additional shelter to any displaced persons in their communities. Fellow Ghanaians, as we mourn the deceased today and the days ahead, let us work together as one team and one nation, united in grief, but determined not to ever have a repeat of such a national disaster. I'll continue to count on your best intentions and efforts as we work together to heal the injured, console the bereaved families, and implement the strategies to avoid a recurrence in the future.
We're taking a break now. When we come back, we have more on the floods that devastated Accra last night. Do stay tuned. Families and friends flocked to the 37 military hospital to go through the anguish of looking for their relatives amongst the dead. The hospital says it took in 65 corpses and 34 others who are currently in critical condition. The process of identifying the dead, as you can imagine, has been horrifying for the victims' families.
Dozens of family members thronged the hospital in search of missing relatives who may have died or hospitalized as a result of the floods. Some friends and families continued to hold out hope that they would find their relatives alive.
Some of our drivers, we have now 2 drivers they have been admitted, and 3 also have died, and some of the mates too. I think the mates are 5. So we identified 3 at the police hospital. So we are
try to get the rest to the mates, some of the mates to here. So because we couldn't find them at the police hospital. So that's why we are here to identify some of our bodies.
Been able to identify some of your drivers.
Yes.
So what next now?
Well, we are trying to, if you get some of the mates, because the drivers we have identified them, so remaining the mates. So that's why we are here. So from here, maybe if we were able to identify them, then we will let their parents or their relatives know that, well, their beloved have been either admitted or passed away.
In an attempt to keep the boy safe from the fire, he left him on the ground and the boy got drowned. The boy is dead and currently at the morgue.
Others for now cannot tell if their relatives are part of the deceased persons or alive and receiving treatment.
Actually, we don't know if she's alive or she's not, because we've gone through almost all the wards here and we couldn't find her. We are left to go to the mortuary to check. So actually she is there and I'm here waiting. If probably she'll be able to identify her.
So we heard that he's among those dead ones, so that's why we are here.
Okay. So have you gone through the ward? Have you gone to the morgue already?
Okay, one of my brothers is inside checking it through the pictures, and the others checking it inside.
So you are
Authorities at the hospital speak of how they are dealing with the cases.
Since morning, so far we have had about 65 bodies in the morgue and about 34 casualties alive. We are doing our best to make sure we take care especially of those who are alive, not to increase the fatality rates.
She also added that the facility has the capacity to deal with more cases.
The hospital is ready to take care of any number that comes in. Let me mention that we are facing one challenge, that is identification of the bodies in the morgue. We are throwing it to the general public to come in to identify their bodies, especially those who have family members that they cannot find. For now, since around mid-afternoon, or let's say noon, we've had some people coming around to do some identification. People come and they go around, they still not find any family member. Others also come and then they find as many as 3 people dead in the morgue. So it's really a devastating situation.
The 37 military hospital is also appealing to Ghanaians to help donate blood to save more lives. Matilda Pumaga for Joy News.
Now, an urban planning expert says he's disappointed that structures, departments and units that are paid to ensure that the city is properly planned to avert dire impact of some natural disasters have gone to bed. Frank Taki said, for instance, a drain project policy that was supposed to be implemented to give a uniform system to channel flood water has been on the shelf since 1992 and is yet to be implemented. Mr. Taki was speaking on PM Express.
These do not form part of the last time there was a comprehensive plan for Accra was in 1992. At the end of the UNDP sponsored my plan. That plan was hardly implemented. That's why I'm saying it's a governance issue. Preparing the plan is not the problem. There is an Accra drainage master plan. So plan preparation is just one stage of the process. Okay. Implementation and enforcement are the next stages that we feel woefully to do. So you can prepare the plan and it becomes more like a library document. Unless it's implemented and then somebody monitors and enforces.
Are we implementing anything now?
Pardon?
Are we implementing anything now?
No. Most of the things that were covered in the Accra master plan that covers drainage have not been implemented. The Accra drainage plan, master plan itself has not fully been implemented. So clearly you've lost the battle there.
Now, Frank Taki there speaking into Martha Krensil Akwa. Now, making his submission on the same show, the Executive Director of the Bureau of Public Safety, Nanayao Akwada, says state agencies who claim to be under-resourced and are unable to deliver on their mandate have no business receiving salaries at the end of the month. He added that appointing agencies must ensure that whoever is appointed as NADMO boss has peculiar expertise to mitigate the impact of any disaster while acting proactively.
If you are not resourced to do the work, what work are you doing for which you draw salaries every month?
They are managing the little they've been given.
And where's the little?
So
because I can't even access an evacuation map of Accra. I don't know where is a safe place. If people call my organization today and say, Bureau of Public Safety, our community is coming under floods, where do we go to? I'm at a loss. There is no evacuation map. Well, if there is, it's in somebody's room. But is that how they're supposed to work? So whenever state institutions say they are not resourced to work, I think that state institutions should be closed down, because you have no business staying there, drawing salaries monthly and not doing what you are mandated to do.
Now, the entire program shows right after the Joy News Prime, so you want to stay tuned for that. Up next, we're bringing you business, and businesses looking at the devastating impact of the floods on the business community. We'll be back shortly. Don't go away. Business news, and we're still looking at the devastating effects of the floods. Now, while some of the businesses may be counting their losses in the tens of thousands, others are looking at millions of Ghana cedis.
And it's quite sad.
Yeah, but I would want to think that a lot of these businesses would also have taken up insurance policies.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, with the big businesses, of course, but the smaller ones, well, let's see how it goes.
Take it away.
Well, so businesses in the capital have lost millions of cedis as a result of the Wednesday heavy rains. Business activities came to a halt in most parts of the metropolis following the rains. Etonam Say visited some companies and has come through with this report.
So we are currently here at the Ring Road branch of Barclays Bank, and not a single worker is at post. We are told by the security man that the whole banking hall was flooded at the early hours of this morning, and as you can see behind me, some office equipment have been brought out just to be able to flush out the water that is currently inside the banking hall. No official here would speak with us. Most customers who visited the branch were turned away as the banking hall will not be operational today and tomorrow. Just by Barclays is NASCO Ghana Limited dealers in home appliances. The entire showroom for the company was flooded, and as much as 50,000 Ghana cedis worth of goods lost to the downpour. Showroom manager Michael Lawson tells Joy Business the company is overwhelmed by the extent of damage.
We came here this morning to only find out that the place is flooded, so it went into our showroom and messed up most of the electronic appliances. But thank God there was no issue with any human being. Nobody died, just that we have lost most of our electronic items. We need to see the way for it and then get to it. Okay, we've lost 50,000 Ghana cedis. Yeah, due to our electronic appliances. You know, it's so bad. This is a natural disaster, nothing you can do. Nobody can control rain. You just have to make sure you have good measures to meet when these casualties come.
I also visited the Graphic Road, which houses a lot of automobile companies like Toyota, Kia, Rana Motors and Hyundai. For Toyota, Rana Motors and Kia, their entire spare parts floor was submerged in water and most of their vehicles submerged too. Hyundai also had the entire showroom flushed out by the rains. Head of Human Resource Management of Hyundai, Emmanuel Lamte, says the situation is devastating.
And for the first time since 2001, we've not really experienced, such flooding to that magnitude. Firstly, you can see what's happening around. We are not working. We are even, thinking whether it will be even possible. We are getting reports that, in the next 2 hours there might be another downpour. So, some of the staff came in, but they've left. So we are hoping that things get better.
In place any measure to avert the situation future?
Yes, we did this wall as a form of barricade, but you can see it's almost gone. So we are thinking if we could immediately, try to at least erect it back to see if, it could prevent any future occurrence.
He, however, assured customers of safety of their vehicles as they have been moved to a safer area. Etonamse, Joy News, Accra.
Quite sad there. So what happens to these commercial properties that have been hit by the flood and have not been insured? Well, Joy Business spoke with the president of the Ghana Insurers Association, Ivan Avreire. Take a listen.
For all those who have been insured, the various insurance companies would, have already been, they've been in touch with them, and they are all assessing situations that would help their insured to be able to make their claims as soon as the flood waters recede. And then for those who are not insured, I think it's a wake-up call for all of us, for us to be able to take this opportunity and look at the aspects of trying to insure every business that we have. In fact, the insurance industry in Ghana can cover from micro to hyper, industries. And if for instance, you were in a home, you needed a fire and allied perils or an all-risk policy, and then the fire and allied policy covers flood, earthquakes, windstorm, limited explosion, tornado, impact, and burst pipes. Of course, with the fire itself, and then lightning. And then for the all risk, that is a much wider cover, and it covers all sorts of risks that would face you as a business. So all these are out there with the various insurance companies, and then you can pick them up. And for offices, there's an insurance policy that covers electronic equipment. So all the computers and all the other machines that are going to get flooded and then cannot work, it's coverable. And of course, for projects, for the contractors who are working all over the places, you can take a contractor's all-risk policy, or you can take an all-risk policy in order that all the business, all the job that you are doing will be assessed, and then they will pay back what has been destroyed to you.
It is indeed expedient to take advantage of these insurance packages. Now, GCB Bank has closed its Circle branch adjacent the Goyle filling station, which exploded last night. A member of the security team who spoke to Joy Business on basis of anonymity says all the workers had been moved to the Liberty House branch. He told my colleague Daryl Kwao they have had to relocate workers because the basement of the bank was flooded.
Why? Because the basement is full of water, so we needed to drain it out before we can work.
So all the staff have been moved elsewhere?
To Liberty House.
So if anybody wants to do business, they have to go to Liberty?
Yeah, they have to go to Liberty House.
How many institutions work here, do you know?
Actually, like 6 departments.
6 departments of GCB?
GCB, yeah.
Work here. Yeah. But then I can see that the fire didn't really affect the building.
No. Actually, that one, no. Only we are safe. Only the water at the basement.
We'll be bringing you more on the impact of the flood, and that'll be all for business today. My name is Abigail Adomakwentri. Israel comes up with more. Do stay on.
FIFA Vice President Jack Warner has indicated he would review all he knows about corruption at Wales football governing body. Mr. Warner, who said he feared for his life, also said he could link FIFA officials to general elections in his native Trinidad and Tobago in 2010. He's one of the 14 people charged by the U.S. over alleged corruption. The first phase of the soap opera at FIFA, and that will continue. Meanwhile, another top FIFA official and key witness, American Jack Blazer, has admitted accepting bribes. The admissions came in newly released transcript from Mr. Blazer's guilty plea from 2013 as part of the wide-ranging U.S. criminal case that has engulfed FIFA and led President Sepp Blatter to resign. And we can stay in the ranks of FIFA, but talk about the Black Stars, who slid 8 places and currently 34th in the world. Ghana suffered a momentous slide on the FIFA rankings after slipping 8 places down to 34th position for the month of June. The Black Stars have also been affected on the CAF ranking as they are now 4th behind leaders Algeria, Cote d'Ivoire and Tunisia. The Black Stars obviously were affected by those defeats to Madagascar and Zambia at the just ended COSAFA Cup in South Africa. Now we can have a look at what's happening at the top. It's Germany, number 1. Belgium follow in the 2nd position. There's Argentina, Colombia, Brazil. 5th there is Netherlands, Portugal, Uruguay, France and Spain in the top 10 of the world in terms of the FIFA ranking. Club football now. Hearts captain Gilbert Fiamino is confident of overturning a 4-0 deficit against Esperance. And we know very well Accra Hearts will need to score 5 unanswered goals to make it into the group stage of the competition. But despite this Herculean task, Gilbert Fiamino tells Choice Sport he is very prepared for it.
At the first, we didn't play into instructions, and the weather too beat us small, so we just take it like that. But now we are correcting our mistakes, or to do everything to get our 4 goals or 5 goals. It's not easy, but we are going to do our best to get that 4 goals. So we are going to give them pressure in our first half. At least in the first half, we have to get at least 2 or 3 goals in the first half. So we do our best. It's not easy to score someone 4, but this is our home. We also have confidence in our home. So we are going to do everything to get goal in the first half, in the second half, to get our 4 or 5 goals. I know when we are playing in Accra Sports Stadium, there's a lot of pressure on us, but this is not the time of pressure. This is the time of all out. We are going all out to do our best. Whatever we can do to repeat our 4, we will do it, because it's not easy. It's a very big disgrace. We will sit here and they will come from Tunisia and come and score us again. Then we will not allow. We have to do our best and do everything that we can do to do what? To win this game. Oh, we have that confidence. We know how they play with us in Tunisia. We can see there are 1 or 2 linkage to where we can use to pass and score our goals.
To allow or not to allow, we'll wait that miracle. Let's do boxing and end it all. The Ghana Amateur Boxing Association has begun a series of qualifiers for elite boxers aimed at rebuffing the national team. GABA has come under criticism for failing to churn promising boxers of the quality of Ghanaian boxing greats like Azuma Nelson, Roy Ankra, I Corte, amongst others at junior tournaments. The Black Bombers will be up for continental assignment soon. A newly elected GABA president, Gideon Corte, has been explaining why this exercise will impact their performances.
This is the first program we are holding just to select the boxers for the national team, and we've invited all the various clubs, both Accra and other regions are all here just to participate. And this is the elite sport. It's not meant for novices and others. So those who have had opportunity to box here in Accra and also box in the Unity Games, they have the privilege to come and exercise themselves to justify for the national team. We're going by the win, not only by the win, but a setup of juries are going to sit down to justify. So it's neither here or there. Whether you win or you don't win, this is a jury who will determine whether you are a good boxer, whether they can reshape you to be in the team. They will decide today. The next for them is they will take them through the necessary rudiments, the necessary trainings, series of competitions amongst them. That is where the winner will emerge.
That's your sport. I'm George at the Junior. Israel will join us with some more. You do stay on.
The sports segment.
Disasters or tragedies, there's always a story about one hero. And Panama, a suburb of Accra, is one of the areas that has been hit the hardest as far as the devastating floods are concerned. Most of the residents in the area have lost their valuables to Wednesday's disaster. In the following report, Joy News' Latif Idris visited one family that narrowly escaped death thanks to the heroics of the father who helped them through a narrow window. As they counted their losses, they could also not ignore the fact that their lives were spared.
Flooding has left a lot of things and properties damaged in the national capital especially. It is now for cleaning and rebuilding, and we have one such individual here who is rebuilding what was damaged as a result of yesterday's flooding, and he's going to tell us exactly how he's dealing with the situation. You are welcome to Joy News.
Thank you.
How would you describe the situation?
Let me put it this way. Yesterday we were in there and then the rain started falling. But as the rain started falling, we thought it was very something small. But before we realized, there was a very big noise over here. So we don't know where the noise is coming from. So we're hiding inside there. And before I realized, my mother was standing in front of me and said, no, what is happening right now? It's not going to be easy for us, so we have to rush and come out. But we can't go through the door. We have to pass through the window and then use our children to pass through the window to the next house. And then we have to rush to the next road before we can survive.
Alobu, you tell us how the flood has affected you.
Yeah, the flood has affected me so very much. As in, like, right now, all my books are gone, and stuffs I really need, as in, like, school, education, my everything. Yeah. So right now, it's just like I'm from hero to zero. That's how I feel like it, because. I mean, my everything, like my school documents and everything is gone right now. It has really affected me, so I don't know what I'll do right now. I don't know what I'm going to do, so we are just looking and hoping up and see what comes up next. My clothes, everything is gone. The one I'm even putting on is not mine. It's my uncle. My uncle gave it to me to wear, yeah. So my clothes, everything, my suitcase, everything, my uncle's stuff, everything is just gone. Yeah.
How was it like when you had the big bang yesterday here?
Oh, we're in the room and then it was flooding. It was flooding and then we're like, oh, it wouldn't come to the room, yeah. So we were outside, we were here on the corridor, and before we realized the water started coming in, and then it's left. So for me, it reached my navel. We have to escape through that narrow window. Yeah, yeah, we had to escape through that place. So had we not done that, I mean, all of us would have drawn.
And that's her story. That's it for the bulletin. My name is Israelite. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good evening.
This is Joy News Prime.